So what I would recommend, and the viewers here, if you're in appeals and you get an offer of settlement, don't think that that's a starting point and it can only get better if you go to litigation. It can get worse because that is not the starting point.
Right.
It can get worse. And there you're dealing with an appeals officer normally is not an attorney. They're usually non-attorneys and they're looking at the protest letter and the revenue agent's report. When I get a case, I start with the revenue agent's report, but I'm looking at everything.
Mm-hmm.
What is the correct result? And it may be less, it may be more. So be careful when you decide to reject the officer's settlement and say, well, I'm going to take the IRS to court. Be careful. There are risks and rewards.
Right. Okay. So, and all of that is fascinating. That's fascinating to get that inside view of how it's handled. But you now are on the outside going up against the IRS. What kinds of things do you see, strategies you like to use? I'm not asking you to share your secrets, but things that our audience would find helpful to know about.
I think one is a useful strategy is just to manage the process. So typically what happens is taxpayers don't have the most complete or organized records. And it's just to organize it in a fashion where it's easy to read. So I wouldn't say it's dumbing down anything, but it's presenting in an organized fashion. That is a strategy. I think a strategy can be, well, I'm just going to dump paper. And as long as I dump paper, it will waste time. It'll frustrate the other side. That is a strategy. I don't find that a very useful strategy.
A helpful strategy. Yeah.
No, because it's frustrating. It creates a certain reaction on the other side. So my view is you want to work cooperatively with the government, not as adversaries. And I think some people would disagree.
I find that to be an interesting viewpoint. You know, we help people with qualifying for Medi-Cal, and that can be a very difficult process, is actually applying, submitting the application. And we encourage them to use somebody, not do it yourself, and submit everything in a nice, neat package, organized, tabs, whatever it takes, because you want the person on the other side to not get mad at you and not be frustrated with you, and to pick up your file and go, okay, I can deal with this. I'm going to look at this today. So I think it's similar approach.
Yeah, it's how you want, I guess the saying is, treat other people as you would want to be treated. And when you deal with the IRS, and we started some time ago about how the IRS for many people triggers a certain response and certain reaction.
Yeah.
And so you think you're automatically in an adversarial posture. And that's not the case. I've worked with many agents throughout the country, and I think uniformly they want to discharge their responsibilities equitably and fairly and with as much professionalism as they can employ. Now, it goes both ways. So if they're dealing with a professional, then they will be professional in response. Now, if you're dealing with someone who's unprofessional, it becomes very difficult to have a intelligent conversation and a dialogue, and things go sideways. And so 2 things I would recommend is, 1, focus on dealing with the IRS in a non-adversarial fashion.
Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Absolute Trust Talk Live. If you enjoyed listening in, then don't forget to subscribe. You can find us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you may listen by searching Absolute Trust Talk. While you're there, we would also love for you to leave us a review. And then why not share your favorite episodes with family, friends, or colleagues too? You can find all of our shows and corresponding show notes by visiting absolutetrustcounsel.com. You'll also find a variety of other free resources, including our ebooks, videos, blogs, presentations, and more. If you need help with your estate planning or administration, we also offer a free discovery call to help get the process started. You can find more information on booking your session by visiting absolutetrustcounsel.com/scheduling. Don't forget to keep an eye out for our next live episode. If you join us for the broadcast, you can submit questions during the show. But if not, don't worry. You can always get in touch with us by sending a quick message to info@absolutetrustcounsel.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you soon.